Hey, welcome back to the English Room podcast. I'm your host, Olivia, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hey everyone, I'm John. Really glad you're here. And honestly, if you're listening to this, you're already ahead of most people because most people say they want to improve their English but never actually do anything about it. You did. So that's a good start.
Today, we're going through the 10 most common mistakes that English beginners make, and more importantly, how to fix each one. I've wanted to do this episode for a while because these are mistakes I see constantly, and the good news is, every single one of them is fixable.
Before we jump in, if you recognize yourself in some of these, that's completely normal. Everyone who has ever learned English has made these mistakes. The point isn't to feel bad about them. The point is to know what to fix.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, number one. This is probably the most common one I hear. Beginners say, I agree with you. And it makes total sense why, in a lot of languages, Spanish, French, Portuguese, you use the verb to be before words like agree. So your brain just carries that over into English.
But in English, agree is already a verb on its own. It doesn't need am in front of it. So the correct sentence is just, I agree with you. That's it.
Same thing with understand. Some people say, understand what you mean, but it's just, I understand.
Let's practice these. Repeat after us. I agree, I disagree. I agree with you completely. I don't agree with that idea. I understand. I don't understand. I understand what you mean.
Say those a few times. The more you say them out loud, the faster your mouth gets used to the correct form. And honestly, that's how grammar becomes automatic. Not by memorizing rules, but by repeating correct sentences until they feel normal.
So from now on, whenever you catch yourself about to say, I'm agree, pause, and just say, I agree. It won't take long before it feels natural.
Number two, this one confuses even intermediate learners, not just beginners. People say, I did a mistake, but it should be, I made a mistake. Or, I will make my homework, but it should be, I will do my homework.
So how do you know which one to use? Here's the way I like to think about it. Use make when you're creating or producing something. Something new comes out of it. Use do when you're performing a task or activity. Nothing new is being made. You're just getting something done.
Examples of make a cake, make a decision, make a mistake, make money, make a phone call, make a plan.
Examples of do. Do your homework, do exercise, do the dishes, do your best, do a favor, do the laundry.
Notice the difference? With make, a cake exists now, a decision exists now, money exists now. Something was created. With do, you just performed the action. The dishes got washed, the homework got finished.
Let me drill this with you. I'll say the word, you say make or do. Homework, do your homework. A cake, make a cake. A mistake, make a mistake. Exercise, do exercise. A decision, make a decision. The dishes, do the dishes. Money, make money. Your best, do your best.
Run through that list a few times this week. It starts to feel obvious pretty quickly.
Number 3, not using past tense. This is extremely common. Beginners say, yesterday I go to the store, or last night I watch a movie, or last week I see my friend.
When you use time words like yesterday, last night, last week, last year, 2 days ago, you need to use past tense. The action already happened, so the verb needs to show that.
So it's, yesterday I went. Last night I watched. Last week I saw my friend. Now, there are 2 types of past tense verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular ones are simple. You just add ed. Watch, watched. Work, worked. Talk, talked. Play, played. Walk, walked.
Irregular verbs are the ones you have to memorize because they don't follow a pattern. They just change completely. Go to went, see to saw, eat to ate, buy to bought, come to came, give to gave, take to took, know to knew, think to thought, say to said.
That list might look long, but here's the thing. You don't need to memorize every irregular verb in English. There are hundreds of them, but the top 20 or 30 are the ones that come up in almost every conversation. Learn those first, and you'll be covered for most situations.
Quick drill. I'll say the present tense, you say the past. Go, went, see, saw, eat, ate, have, had, come, came, buy, bought, know, knew, say, said.
Do that drill every day this week. It's one of those things where repetition really is the answer.
Number 4. This one is a small mistake, but it comes up a lot. Beginners say, I have been studying English since 3 years, but the correct version is, I have been studying English for 3 years.
The rule is actually pretty clean once you see it. Use for with a length of time, meaning how long something lasted. Use since with a specific point in time, meaning when something started.
For examples, for 2 hours, for 6 months, for 3 years, for a long time, for ages. Since examples, since Monday, since 2019, since I was a child, since last summer, since we met.
So you'd say, I've been learning English for 2 years. That's a length of time. Or, I've been learning English since 2022. That's a specific point when it started.
Both sentences are correct. They just describe the time differently. Once you understand that difference, this stops being confusing.
Quick practice. 3 months. For 3 months. Last Tuesday. Since last Tuesday. A long time. For a long time. I was a child. Since I was a child. 6 hours. For 6 hours. This morning. Since this morning.
Number 5, really common one. People say, he don't like coffee or she don't know the answer. Both of those are incorrect. Host 1. Here's the rule. With I, you, we, they, use don't. With he, she, or it, use doesn't. That's the whole thing.
Here's the rule. With I, you, we, they, use don't. With he, she, or it, use doesn't. That's the whole thing.
Let's go through some examples. I don't like coffee. You don't have to go. We don't know yet. They don't understand. He doesn't like coffee. She doesn't have to go. It doesn't matter. He doesn't know yet.
Say those out loud if you can right now. Seriously, hearing yourself say the correct form is much more useful than just reading it. Your brain needs to hear it and feel it, not just understand it.
And if you've been saying he don't for a while, don't be hard on yourself. It just means you need more repetition with the correct form. That's it.
Number 6. And I'd say this is probably the most important one on the whole list. Translating directly from your language into English word by word.
Every language has its own way of saying things, its own structure, its own logic. When you take a sentence from your language and just swap each word for an English word, it usually comes out sounding wrong, or at least very strange.
A classic example. In a lot of languages, the way to say you're hungry is, I have hunger. Translated directly into English, people say, I have hunger. But that's not how English works. We say, I'm hungry.
Or another one, some languages say something like, how do you call yourself? To ask someone's name. In English, it's, what's your name? Or what do people call you? Different structure entirely.
So the fix isn't to translate better. The fix is to stop translating and start learning English in phrases and chunks.
Instead of learning the word hungry by itself, learn the whole phrase. I'm hungry. Are you hungry? I'm not hungry yet. I'm starving, actually. Your brain stores those as complete units and pulls them out naturally when you need them.
This is what language teachers call chunk learning, and it's one of the most effective ways to become fluent because you're not building sentences from scratch every time. You already have the building blocks ready.
So from today, whenever you learn a new word, don't learn it alone. Find a sentence that uses it. Write that sentence down. Say it out loud. That's how it sticks.
Number 7. The TH sound. This one is hard for almost every English learner in the world, no matter what language they speak.
You hear people say this and that instead of this and that, or tree instead of three, or tink instead of think, or day instead of they.
The reason it's so hard is that the TH sound simply doesn't exist in most other languages, so your mouth has never had to make that shape before.
Here's how to do it. Put the tip of your tongue lightly between your upper and lower teeth. Just the tip, not your whole tongue. Then push air through. That's the sound.
It feels really strange at first. Your instinct is to pull your tongue back and say a D or a T sound instead. But keep practicing, and your mouth will get used to the position.
Let's practice together. Repeat after us slowly the. This.
Practice those in front of a mirror. Actually seeing your tongue between your teeth helps a lot. Even just 5 minutes a day, and you'll notice a real difference within a week or two.
Number 8. This one is less about being wrong and more about sounding more natural and more fluent. A lot of beginners use the word very for everything. Very good, very big, very tired, very happy, very bad.
There's nothing grammatically wrong with it. But when everything is very something, your English starts to sound a bit flat and repetitive. Native speakers tend to use more specific, stronger words instead.
Here are some swaps worth knowing. Very big to huge or enormous, very small to tiny, very funny to hilarious, very sad to heartbroken, very scared to terrified, very hungry to starving, very tired to exhausted, very happy to thrilled or delighted, very angry to furious, very cold to freezing, very hot to boiling, very good to excellent or fantastic.
These aren't fancy or complicated words. They're just more specific, and using them makes you sound much more natural.
Pick 2 or 3 from that list today and actually try to use them. Even in your head, if you're tired, think, I'm exhausted, instead of, I'm very tired. That kind of mental practice adds up.
Number 9. And this one isn't about grammar at all. It's about how people study. A lot of beginners spend most of their time on grammar exercises and vocabulary lists, which is useful, but they never really practice listening to real English. And then they're confused when they watch a movie or talk to a native speaker and can't follow anything.
Here's the thing. Real spoken English sounds very different from textbook English. Native speakers talk fast. They use contractions constantly. They blend words together and sometimes drop sounds entirely. What are you doing? Becomes, what you doing? I don't know. Becomes, I don't know. Going to becomes gonna.
If you've only ever read English, hearing it spoken naturally can feel like a completely different language. That's why listening practice has to be part of your routine.
It doesn't have to be complicated. Podcasts like this one, YouTube videos on topics you actually enjoy, movies or shows with subtitles, audiobooks, even music, listening closely to the lyrics and how words connect.
The goal is to train your ear. You want real spoken English to start feeling familiar, not foreign. And the only way that happens is through regular exposure.
Even 15 to 20 minutes a day makes a real difference over weeks and months. And you're already doing it right now, which is great. Just make it a habit.
Number 10, the last one. And honestly, I think it's the most important one on the whole list. Being too afraid to speak.
This is something so many learners deal with. They study for months, sometimes years. They know a lot of grammar. They've got a decent vocabulary. But when it's time to actually open their mouth and speak English to another person, they freeze.
Because they're afraid of making mistakes. afraid of sounding stupid, afraid of being judged.
And I get it. It's a vulnerable feeling. You know what you want to say in your head, and then it comes out wrong, and it's embarrassing. That feeling is real.
But here's the truth. You cannot become fluent without speaking. Reading, studying, listening, all of that matters. But speaking is the thing that actually makes everything click. There's no way around it.
And the interesting thing is, making mistakes when you speak is not a sign that you're failing. It's literally how the learning happens. Every time you say something wrong and then hear the correct version, your brain updates. That's the
So the goal isn't to speak perfectly. The goal is just to speak, even badly, even slowly, even with long pauses while you search for the right word. That's all fine.
Here's what we'd suggest. Find one person, a friend, a classmate, a language partner online, and have a short conversation in English today. It doesn't need to be long or impressive, just a few sentences. That's enough to start.
And if there's genuinely no one around, talk to yourself. Describe what you're doing out loud. I'm making coffee. I'm going to the kitchen. I need to call my friend later. It sounds silly, but it actually works. You're still practicing forming sentences, using vocabulary, and getting comfortable with the sound of your own voice in English.
The people who improve fastest at speaking aren't the ones who studied the most. They're the ones who spoke the most even when they weren't ready, even when they made mistakes. That willingness to try is everything.
You're already braver than you think. You're here, you're learning, you're putting in the time. Just take it one conversation at a time.
All right, let's do a quick recap of all 10 mistakes. 1. Saying I agree instead of I agree. 2. Mixing up make and do. 3. Forgetting to use past tense. 4. Confusing since and for. 5. Saying he don't instead of he doesn't. 6. Translating word for word from your language. 7. Struggling with the th sound. 8. Overusing the word very. 9. Not practicing listening. 10. Being too afraid to speak.
If any of these hit home for you, pick the one or two that feel most relevant and focus on those this week. You don't have to fix everything at once. Small, consistent improvements add up fast.
If this episode was useful, share it with someone else who's learning English. It genuinely helps the podcast, and it might help them a lot.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We put out new episodes every week, and we'd love to have you along for the journey. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye.